The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. Summary: The Prince and the Pauper is a historical novel by Mark Twain, published in 1881, that tells the story of Tom Canty, a poor boy from London, and Prince Edward, the son of King Henry VIII, who discover that they look remarkably alike. When they decide to switch places for a short adventure, they are mistaken for each other and forced to live each other's lives. Through this adventure, they gain insight into different social classes and the injustices present in society. The novel explores themes of justice, identity, empathy, and the impact of privilege. Plot summary. 1. Meeting and switching places. Tom Canty, a poor boy who lives in the slums of London, dreams of a better life. One day, while wandering near Westminster Palace, he encounters Prince Edward Tudor, who is curious about the life of the commoners. The two boys realize they look identical and decide to trade clothes for a bit of fun. However, while dressed as Tom, Edward is mistaken for a commoner and thrown out of the palace by the guards. Tom, meanwhile, finds himself stuck in Edward's role, surrounded by royalty and unable to convince anyone that he is not the real prince. Suddenly thrust into each other's worlds, both boys must learn to navigate their new lives, facing challenges and gaining insights along the way. 2. Edward's life in poverty. Edward, now outside the palace, is forced to live among the poor, experiencing the harsh realities of poverty firsthand. He encounters cruel treatment, hunger, and the indifference of society toward the plight of the impoverished. Along the way, he is helped by Miles Hendon, a noble but down-to-earth soldier who takes pity on Edward and vows to protect him, despite thinking that Edward's claims of being the prince are delusional. Through his struggles, Edward learns about the injustices that commoners face daily, from brutal punishments to widespread inequality. His experiences shape his understanding of justice and compassion, giving him a newfound sense of responsibility toward his future subjects. 3. Tom's struggles in the royal court. While Edward endures hardship, Tom faces his own difficulties in the palace, where he is mistaken for the prince and forced to act in royal duties. Though bewildered and terrified at first, Tom eventually adapts to his role, using his natural intelligence and curiosity to learn about royal customs and courtly behavior. As he observes the opulence of the palace and the politics of the court, he gains insight into the power and privilege that come with royalty. At times, Tom feels guilt and anxiety, especially as he grows more comfortable in the role of prince. However, his compassionate nature leads him to enact changes that alleviate the harsh punishments and laws, showing a glimpse of the fairness and empathy that would come to define Edward's reign. 4. Challenges and revelations. As both boys grow accustomed to their new lives, complications arise. Edward's insistence on his true identity and Tom's fears of being exposed lead to tense and dangerous situations. Miles Hendon becomes Edward's closest ally, often risking his life to protect Edward from those who think he is insane. Tom, meanwhile, faces court challenges and skeptical nobles who question his sanity and decision-making as prince. As King Henry VIII dies, Tom is called upon to be crowned as the new king. Both Tom and Edward fear they may never regain their true identities, leading them to reflect on the fleeting nature of power and the injustices caused by rigid social structures. 5. The restoration of identities. Just before Tom's coronation, Edward arrives at Westminster Abbey with Miles Hendon, demanding to be recognized as the true heir. The dramatic scene unfolds as Edward provides proof of his identity, recounting details only he could know. The courtiers and nobles, shocked by the resemblance between Tom and Edward, finally recognize Edward as the rightful king. With their identities restored, Edward forgives Tom, recognizing that he has also gained wisdom and compassion from his time among the commoners. He rewards Tom and his friend Miles for their loyalty, and he vows to rule justly, inspired by his first-hand experience of poverty and injustice. Key themes. 1. Social justice and empathy. The novel examines the disparities between the lives of the wealthy and the impoverished. Through their experiences, both Tom and Edward come to understand the suffering of those less fortunate and develop empathy for others. The story suggests that true justice comes from understanding and addressing the needs of all social classes. 2. Identity and self-discovery. The switch between Tom and Edward highlights the fluidity of identity, as each character learns more about himself by living another's life. Tom's growth in confidence and Edward's deepened compassion reflect the power of experience in shaping one's character. 3. Power and responsibility. The novel explores the notion that power should come with a sense of responsibility and empathy. Edward's promise to rule justly is shaped by his experiences as a commoner, showing that rulers must understand and care for their subjects to lead effectively. 4. The impact of appearances and assumptions. The reactions of the people around Tom and Edward demonstrate how much society relies on appearances and status to judge individuals. Both boys face different challenges based on the assumptions of those around them, highlighting the superficial nature of societal judgments. Conclusion. The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain is a compelling exploration of identity, justice, and empathy. Through the adventures of Tom and Edward, Twain critiques social inequalities and offers a message of compassion and fair leadership. The novel's engaging storyline, memorable characters, and timeless themes make The Prince and the Pauper a beloved classic that encourages readers to look beyond appearances and strive for a just and compassionate society.